With only 3 weeks until graduation, I was assigned yet another group project in my AP English 4 literature class. With these group projects, it often elicits some kind of dread and fear, knowing that I will probably end up doing a solo project with 3 other people watching me. Being 18 and being granted all this infinite wisdom that comes with being a teenager, I've been able to divide 2 categories of people when it comes to group projects. The first are people like you and me, who understand that with every group project, we will probably have to take over, do all the work, and make sure that the product that we put out is our best product, not we, but our own. And the second group that sees every single group project as an opportunity to take a few weeks off and lean on people like you and I in order to work. So when I think about how often I'm surrounded with group work and working with others, I really wanted to know, do people actually like to work together, or does everyone else in the world feel like me? A couple scientists had the same exact question, and they wanted to see at the genetic level if people actually had some kind of proclivity or innate desire to collaborate. So first, I'd like to talk about this one study that put identical twins, like my father and uncle, and fraternal twins together. The key distinction between fraternal identical twins, of course, being that identical twins share 100% of DNA, and 50% fraternal twins share only 50. What the study found, however, is regardless of their DNA makeup, it seemed that every single human and every single individual in the study had this natural desire or this genetic behavior that made them altruistic, that made them want to work together, want to work into groups. This, of course, crosses familial bonds and familial lines, as another study put toddlers and our closest human relatives, apes, in a situation to test and see if humans were the only people that had this natural desire to work together. What they did is they put the toddler and the apes, and they had them complete a task, and upon completion of that task, offered them a reward. Here's where the part about collaboration comes in. Then they introduced their partner to both the toddler and the ape. The key part of this was making sure that we put the right species with each other. Once they figured that out, they saw that the toddler, despite knowing that they would not receive any increased reward when working with their partner, often worked more together, almost every single time, as the ape did not. So, if the case is that humans really do have this natural desire to work together, why does it always seem that we hate working together and that we can't do it anymore? 2 examples, though, seem to point that this isn't true, and shows that we don't always have to be this way. The first, of course, is an event that happened that many people in this room are familiar with. On September 11th, 2001, a couple of planes hit the World Trade Center, sending New York City and the rest of the world into a state where the future was unclear and terrifying and plagued with fear. While all of us recognize that this happened on this day, what a lot of us do not know is that on that very same day, one of the largest evacuations by water in American history occurred. As if like ants, humans worked together systematically to take people from New York City across the Hudson River over to New Jersey, with no desire other than to reach their fellow human and get them to safety. It didn't matter if it was a civilian or a fireman or the Coast Guard. People fell together and worked together and honestly led to the safety of thousands of people within New York City. Another incident, even more recently, came after the tragic shooting in Parkland, Florida, at a high school, where students my age and younger were able to put together one of the largest grassroots movements for voting and also gun control in a matter of just a month. Both of these events have something in common. They both come at the end of tragedies, and they both involve collaboration. However, as a society and as people, we cannot wait for the next big tragedy and the next bad thing to happen just to return to our innate roots to work as a team and to work together. In my high school career and being in PALs and speech and debate, I'm surrounded by teamwork. And what I see, I'm not necessarily happy with. And I'm not happy with the way that I view group projects either. This is why I think it's imperative for the people in here today, as well as myself, to redefine and give a new face to what teamwork and collaboration means. So you and I are now going to discuss what it means to be a real team player. In the interest of oversimplification, I've really led this down to about 3 words and a sentence. This, of course, starts with adapt. Every group situation you're ever going to face is going to be with people that you don't always have to work with. And with different people always comes different ideas, different learning styles, and different communication styles. What it's imperative to do in the group setting then is to adapt to these people and understand that if you're going to work together, you have to work with them fundamentally as well as in the group. This means adapting to their styles, adapting to the way they learn and talk in order to truly integrate and invite everyone into the conversation and have effective group work. Next is shift. We have to abandon this idea that if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself, or that every time you walk into the room, you're the smartest person, which in this instance, unfortunately, is true because I am a teenager and I do know everything. However, when we approach group work and you're surrounded by teenagers or coworkers, that shouldn't be the case. You have to understand that not one person will be the leader the entire time, and the other 4 people, 3 people, or regardless, will not be just the followers. Learn that it's important to shift your role. Understand that each group is dynamic and different and unique, and that means that your role within that group must shift and follow that uniqueness as it comes along. Third and finally is delegate. This is something that I have a lot of trouble with. As I mentioned earlier, I always have to think that if you want something done right, do it yourself. This can't be the case anymore because as we adapt to our group, we also must recognize that we can lean on them. The epitome of a group is being able to lean on other people when maybe you can't give your best effort, or maybe you're not an expert in that field. What this means is delegate responsibilities, because what you just might get is a better idea or an improved idea on the ideas that you might think are so great. One of the most important things that we have to recognize whenever it comes to collaboration is that true collaboration can only begin when competition ends. Too many times in this world, we're put into situations where we have to work together, and all we're focused on is that grade, or that promotion, or that raise. This is the enemy and the villain of collaboration, because whenever you're just self-interested, you don't lie with the rest of your group. You don't have the same interest, and what that's going to lead to is failed group work. And if we're going to change the world and we're going to change ourselves, we have to get rid of this competition and understand that we're working together. We have a common goal, and this eliminates competition. If I can leave you with anything today that's imperative to being a collaborator and a team player, it's that each and every single one of you has value. And if we're going to redefine and reshape what it means to collaborate, then we must do everything within our power to recognize and draw out this uniqueness and this value in other people. Because it is then, when we work together and truly value each other, that we are able to take these ideas worth spreading, make them ideas worth discussing, and then ideas worth practicing that will eventually change ourselves, this district, this community, and the world. It's been a pleasure, and thank you.